Hi guys, in this video we're going to show you how to install a roof rail to a roof rail type vehicle like this Toyota 100 series. The results come up great. Your box will look like this when you get it with all the components in it. Let's crack on and show you how to get this on. Removed the old rack already. So first thing you do is cover the roof in rags so you don't scratch roof. These little alloy spaces that we supply in the kit are to get the roof rack foot, which is this component, up a bit. The spaces provided push the roof rack foot plate up and above the little ridge line that sits inside the gutter. Use a set of nips to trim down any of the excess rubber on the trimming and then clean out the gutter ready for the foot rail. Check the threads on the bolts, the existing nutsert factory studs that are there that are okay and that they accept a bolt. If they're rusty, replace them with nutserts. Once you're satisfied that the area is clean, drop in your foot plate and start getting your 40mm bolts ready. Hex bolts, like so they've got a hex head on them. The reason for that is it's a lot easier to drop them into the roof using an Allen key from the top. So get a nice big thick washer on there as such. Once you got your washer on, make it a little bit harder because I'm one-handed. Push it in the hole. Now I grab this tool. This is our favourite little tool for this job. It's just a handled Allen key pretty much. Drop it on the head. These are great because they sort of force you to get it in there straight. Now definitely don't thread anything. That's the big challenge here, is to get the bolts in without causing any thread damage. If you do, you're going to need a thread tool. Okay, that one's in, good. I didn't do it right up. I just want them in soft. And then I'm going to move to the next one. What we want to do is get all 4 feet on, soft and not done up. Just sitting on there, basically like this one, and soft. Because then we pull the bolts out and dip the tips in Sikaflex, not silicone. There is some supplied in the roof rack kits. So that when you do get any sort of water and so on, it can't get in through the holes and cause any leaks. They're all slotted, so they move. I don't know if you can see that. So they move back and forth so you can line all that up. Once you've got it all lined up, then you nip them all up tight and you're good to go. Then you can start putting your blanks on. So I'll put the phone down for a minute and I'll zip through getting these 3 on and then show you again. All right, so I'm back. I've put all my feet on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give the camera to Dan, and then I'm going to show you how to put the rail on here.
I can't see.
So these are all wiggly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it going the right way?
Yeah, it's going. It's okay, g'day. You're jerking around because you're laughing too much. So they're all wiggly. I'm just holding the camera for Dan.
Oh, because I can't see it. Well, I can't
Sorry
see
for
it.
all those people that
Can't we do it the other way around now?
intellectually challenged like Dan. There we go. So hold it steady. That's it. That's good, Dan. I like that. That's really good. You can turn it around here. Just turn it around. Hold it steady, Dan. Jesus. Thank you, Dan. All right. I'm just thinking of myself getting seasick. So put your foot rail roughly where you want it. Line up a hole, drop a bolt in it, and then use your little easy to put on one. I don't know what you call that, nut. That's it, it's called a nut. Plenty of nuts around here. Get your nut on, and then run to the back and do the same. So you just want 2 on there so the thing doesn't fall off, scratch your car. Once you got your 2 on, then you sort of got a bit of security so that you can start moving around and actually bolting stuff off properly. So yeah, okay, have a look at that. I don't know if you can see that rail now, Dan. Sloppy, jalopy, it's just sitting in there. But that's fine, because what I'm going to do now is actually start getting the real ones. So a 20 and a washer, a nylock and a washer, 1 for each side. And I'm going to start dropping those into the bottom rail where they go with the nylock, and I'm just working my way through each and every fitting with a 20 now, and then I'm going to crank those up and start basically tightening up the whole rack. So by putting my main thing, by putting the top bolts in to 2, you see these have all got to line up. I can line the top bolt up first on each and every one, Once I've got the top bolt lined up, I know my feet are now correct this way, as in forward and backwards. Once my feet are all correct forwards and backwards, I can now go to my roof bolts and actually do them up properly because they're already seated. Once they're done up properly, then I can go fixing off the rest of the bolts into the foot rail. Sound good? Let's do it. Okay, so I've retired Dan from the camera. So yeah, you'll see here that I've got the rails still loose. They can still move forwards and backwards, but I've put the aligning bolt in the top first, and I've started to put the bottom bolts in all the way along. Now, before you put the bottom bolts the whole way, it's a good idea now that we're all aligned, when I've got all my top bolts in on all 4 feet, I know that they're in the right spot. So what I can do from here is actually tighten up my roof bolts and get these feet in correct and solid. Once I've tightened up all 4 feet and they're in plumb and strong, then I can just work my way through putting these bolts in now at my leisure to get the rail to sit correctly. It's wise not to use power tools to do this stuff, because power tools, you won't feel that bolt threading. You'll just cross thread it, cause yourself a lot more work. For those of you that are going to attempt a Landcruiser 105 or 100 series, just for a bit of a laugh, this is actually the hardest to do, which is why I'm doing it in the video. The Landcruiser has a particularly savage roof roll, meaning that your feet are quite angled that way. They're 70-degree feet, or you can go for a 75-degree foot, which we're doing now, and reducing the angle on the foot rail to an 80-degree. The 4-degree difference between the feet and the rail is actually not quite enough for this car. We're sort of pushing it out to about 8 degrees because of the intense roll on the edge of the roof. So yeah, Landcruiser 100, great, really good, strong vehicle, but has a difficult to fit roof rack. Just checked on the bolts in the roof now. The roof feet are actually all in nice and strong. So now the fun bit, which is the easy bit, is just adding my bolts here and here and here to each and every foot. So I've got 4 sets of 3 to put into the side. You can use power tools on this because it is an easy connection, and there's no chance of threading anything because it's just basically a through bolt. So I've done up all feet now. So this rail, this is called the foot rail. That is the foot rail foot in there. That rail is fitted. You won't see that shaking because I'm shaking the camera, but I've just roughed in the planks. We get some people worried that they can only get 1 bolt into these. 1 is actually plenty. Try for 2, 1 each side. Obviously better if you can, but because the roof of nearly every vehicle tapers, thanks very much vehicle builders, it's impossible to get every single bolt in every place to line up and then replicate that across 40 odd vehicles. So you can burr these holes out a little bigger if you want to, with using a step drill is the ideal way to do it. That it won't jam and it will bore out the holes so that you can fit them in. There's no issue with rusting because the rails is 3CR12 and the top plank is an aluminium. Sideways flex is the issue with most racks, as in flex this way when you're shimmying around potholes and what have you on the road. The flex in these is obviously very minimal because of the amount of metal that we've used in this one-piece rail, and also the rack feet. It still comes in at just 22 kilos for the whole rack, which is killer light really, when I think most of the racks for this vehicle are coming in at about 40 kilos, so you sort of got some weight savings. There's not much to it, the rack, when you see it all on there, but the one-piece fold the whole way down gives it incredible strength. So we're happy to see us try and kill this one off-road with any sort of weight you like. Good luck. If you can break it, yeah, we'd love to know about it. We'll give you another one. So typically when we install a tent to these, which we're going to do now, we install a tent to the front and rear rack plank, and then the centre 2 remain always bolted to the vehicle. When you lift the tent off, you lift the tent off with the 2 planks, one at each end, still attached. Just before you install your tent, roll on the anti-vibration self-adhesive backing tape. Just stops any rattles. So we've lowered the tent onto the roof rack. You'll see that there's a shiny hole here in the rack now, just there. If you look up onto the tent, the corresponding hole for the rack is drilled, and we've put a nutsert in that hole already. We drilled those with an 11mm drill bit and then used a nutsert tool to fit captive nuts into the tent so that we can now lower it on there, line it up and drop the bolts in. Be careful when bolting in to the nutserts that you don't cross thread. This is a Nissan Y62 Patrol with our footrail rack fitted, followed by a Prado 150 wagon, also with the top hat bar planks. Another Prado, this one's got the underslung planks on it and an easy on stealth. We do dual cab utes too, that's a Hilux with an over cab rack. And yeah, finally a 200 series, again, nice and low and strong, and a Range Rover Sport. Now look, I hope you like the video, guys. We do most common 4-wheel drives. Check it out. Cheers.